Welcome to ISE's Equity Index Weekly Outlook, a weekly outlook on ISE and other industry indexes, hosted by Patrick Ceresna, a derivative market specialist and investment manager with extensive expertise in options and the broader derivative markets. ISE trades options on more than 15 proprietary sector indexes, as well as broad-based indexes and a variety of licensed benchmarks. ISE continually enhances its trading systems and develops new index options products to provide investors with the best marketplace and investment tools to trade smarter.
Hello and welcome to the ISE Equity Index Options Outlook for December 28, 2008. This is your host, Patrick Ceresna. First off, we're going to have a look at the S&P 500 using the Exchange Traded Fund SPDR SPY. And we really have seen a big break of this wedge formation this week. That we've been talking about this wedge for the last couple of weeks. And really the key thing here is that it becomes increasingly likely that we're going to see a breakdown or a sell cycle coming in the S&P 500. The only way that we see this market turning back up is if we have some sort of a robust rally that breaks back above the 90-92 area. At that point, we would start revisiting the idea of a market that may continue, but so long as it continues to consolidate here, and specifically a break below this 84-85 focal point, not only does that open the window for a move down to the 75-77 zone, but actually the measured move measures all the way down to the 66 to 71 zone on the downside. So really this 84-85 level is vital here, and it must hold this market. Otherwise, things become quite bearish on the downside. Now we're going to take a look at the ISE US Regional Banks Index, which is the symbol JLO, and we really are seeing relative weakness in the regional banks versus the broader markets, and at this stage it continues to consolidate right at that 2021 focal point we've been talking about. This is a very pivotal moment as well in this. If for whatever reason we have any technical breakdown below this 2120 area on the downside, immediately opens the window for not only potential retest of the 17.5 to 18.5 on the downside, but also the measured move on the downside is all the way down to the $12 to $14 area. So really at this stage, it is vital that the support levels hold in. And what would be the only situation that turns this market back up would be any rally back above 24.25 that indicates that we've done some sort of bottoming process and a reversing back up. But at this stage, continue to have a negative outlook. Next, we're going to have a look at the ISE Syndex, which is the symbol SIN, and this is an index of distillers, casino companies, and tobacco companies. And more or less, we had also a wedge formation recovery that occurred in three waves on its way up, and finding resistance at that 69.71 focal point we've been talking about for months. And at this stage, with the breaking down of this wedge formation, really we're looking for confirmation of a break below this 65-66 area marked by the blue box. Any confirmation of a break below there immediately opens the window for retesting in the best case scenario 60-62, but the window is wide open for all the way down to the 53-55 zone at minimum. Next, we're going to have a look at the ISE Home Builders Index, which is the symbol RUF. And for the last couple of weeks, we've been also talking about that rising wedge formation. We now have a technical breakdown below there. And even though we can't rule out a little snapback rally after 5 days of selling, at this stage, we are expecting a downside resolution over the next couple of weeks. For the initial support should come in at the 625, 675. But in the big picture, a double bottom retest around the 4.5 to 5 looks like it's in the cards. Next here, we're going to look at the ISE Natural Gas Index, which is the symbol FUM. And we've been talking about the relative weakness and lack of follow-through on the upside on this index. And really, we've seen that selling, which pretty much almost tested down into that 62 part of the focal point that we've been talking about. At this stage, with this continuing to show relative weakness, it becomes increasingly likely that we're going to see a move all the way down to that 50-52 area on the downside. If we do find support at the 60-62 area for another retest there, we would need a recovery all the way above that 75-80 focal point for us to see a shift in the bigger picture for the natural gas index. When we look at the ISE Mini FTSE 100 Index, which is the symbol UKX, we see the same rising wedge formation that we see in the S&P 500. And with the break of the wedge, at this stage, we really are looking for that breakdown below this 420, 430 focal point. A break below 420 immediately opens the window for retesting all the way down to the 375, 385 area on the downside. And the measured move actually measures all the way down to the 350, 355 on the downside. So there is lots of room for selling if this 420 area doesn't hold. If we do see support levels come in and hold here, then we could at that stage be looking for a retest of 440 on the upside, or a move all the way back up to the 455, 465. So watch that 420 pivot. Otherwise, thank you for joining me for the ISE Equity Index Options Outlook for December 28, 2008, and Happy New Year.
Thank you for participating in this week's session. Please join us again next week. For more information about Patrick Ceresna and to sign up for free index options trade alerts, visit www.optionsource.net. To learn more about ISE index options, visit us at www.ise.com/indexoptions.